Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Bangers Bricks. As promised last week, this is the second part looking at this set, which is in the Lumibricks medieval set and links into the one that I looked at last week. So, this is the Lumibricks L9071 Castle Banquet Hall. It has 3,232 pieces. 42 printed tiles, 6 characters, 15 lights, printed manuals, and it cost me £118, which is about $154. And so here we have the model from the, I'd say front. It's difficult with this one, as you'll see as I spin it round. But it's certainly where the entrance is. And yeah, it looks very, very pretty. I like the proper gold here rather than the goldy colour. It is the proper metallic gold, which is nice. And you can see the printed windows here, I think, are absolutely exceptional. I think they add so much, having there really a lot of colour here. As with the last set, then I really like the fire effect and the braziers here and the steps going up. It's all very pretty, lots of foliage too. I think it is a very handsome set. One thing to point out for a bit later are these connectors on the sides, which are important for a bit later. As always, then the doors do open and close. Nice to have them open so that you can see inside into the set. If I spin, but be careful with the power pack because it does have a habit of coming off. So this is what could also be considered the front of the set. You can see another wonderful print on the stained glass window, as well as these ones here. Nice different effect on both. Very pleasing effect on the roof, which makes it obviously very similar to the set last week. So they do go in together. Nice tower here with a wonderful flame effect on the inside there to signal the signal fires, I guess, which looks very nice. And then steps up from the main hall, you can see here, up into the tower. There's also some nice little turret effects on the roof itself, which help to break it up, stop it from being remotely boring. And I think it looks really nice. Again, just the number of printed tiles that you can see here, which didn't need to be printed, but really do add to the design and the detail. Now moving it round to the side that is going to be least seen, I'd have thought, is obviously very boring and really not pretty. This is the side that will connect up with the other set, which is one of the reasons why it's not pretty. This does open up though, if you want to have a look into the set there, which is quite nice. I do like these little bits to get in there. Obviously, it's more difficult to get into some of these areas depending on the set and how complex the inside is. And then we have an opening up segment here so that you can see the cook's station here, which is lovely, for where all the food is prepared for the banquet. Well, it's really nice that they've put this stuff in because obviously, yeah, they've got to have to cook somewhere, and again allows you easy access onto the inside. Interestingly, I did have some issues here, which is why when I close this, you can see that there's a gap there. The tolerances, especially at this end, caused me some problems with the piece that was meant to be in there. Meant that you either couldn't open it or couldn't close it, depending. So I had to remove a piece to enable it to fit. No matter what I did, I couldn't seem to get it to work. I think it's a very minor issue, especially as I said, this is the side that joins on with the other set. You can see the connector there. So it's not a big issue, but yeah, again, something to consider. There are on this set lots of bits to pull out. That is the connector for all of the different wires. So if you're wanting to add any in, it's nice that you can pull that out very easily. So then we move around to the back of the set. Again, just being careful not to disconnect the power. So again, very plain on this side, very, very plain actually. Interestingly, no stained glass for these windows, which I'm not quite sure why they didn't do that, but again, it's not a side that you're going to see very often. And this has one bit that this pulls off and that falls off frequently. So first, just to show the bit that I've taken off there, again, relatively plain, but some really nice prints and details here, and then the pictures on the wall. It's nice that they actually put the effort into this bit, at least a little bit, considering that you'll obviously generally discard that when you're looking at the main set. And yeah, so here is the inside of the banqueting hall. Obviously, this is much more of a single set. So like last week's had the main treasury part, but it had a whole section underneath of caves and such like. This one is set much lower than that set. And so it's kind of a double height one on the inside. Again, lots of these lovely gold pieces, which is really great. I love the chandelier here, some really nice detail on there. And the balcony with the painted banners and a full table. I'm not quite sure they had croissants in medieval Britain, or wherever this medieval area is, probably Britain. But yeah, understandably, there are a limited number of Lego type food pieces, which is why we have popcorn, croissants, a muffin, and a turkey. But I think, again, the detail is just beautiful. So many of these prints, so many studs not on top techniques to get all of these different angles, which is really, really nice. The staircase, I think, is absolutely lovely going up here with a lovely big printed tile at the back there. There are some play features with this, which I'm not quite sure why. I don't quite know what to do with them. So this bit pulls out here, and you can see there are some barrels and things stored underneath. That's nice, but I don't quite understand what I'm going to do with that. And then this whole section here does come up and out. This is meant to be, I believe, so that you can remove the table and the chairs and put this back as, I guess, kind of a dance floor or whatever you want to use it for. But I don't quite know why it needs to be taken out like this. Obviously, you could have just taken the table and chairs off yourself. Underneath, there is very little detail. There's a couple of barrels, and that's about it. But that then just pops back in neatly. Under here is where the power pack would be stored, but I'm using the trusty power bank instead, as it's a bit easier than swapping out all of the power supplies each time. And so here are both the models put together. I think they do look incredible next to each other. It's very impressive. I love how, they do kind of flow from one to the next, which has obviously been designed as such. And you can see here, this is where the little drawbridge drops down to allow the king to move easily from the banquet hall across to the treasury and vice versa. So it makes a lot more sense there with being joined in. And I've made reference before to the connectors on the side. So they work in exactly the same way that the connectors for each of the floors work, that you can connect them up like that, and then there we are, power gone, and then just connect them up, power there. So you only need to power the one of the models, and then it flows across to the others. I think these are really starting to make a beautiful Lego castle set. Certainly better than anything I've seen from Lego recently when it comes to castles. It's a really nice theme, and I think it's a shame that Lego don't do more of this kind of thing. But it's great that other companies like Lumibricks are filling that gap. And so here are the characters that come with the set. Quite a good selection for this. So it's based off a wedding in the banqueting hall. And starting here on the left, we have Annie, a beautiful princess and the bride. Next to her is Edric, the brave groom prince of a neighbouring kingdom. In the middle, clearly we have Arthur, the powerful king and protector of the realm. A original name there for the king. Next to him is Sarah, the kingdom elder and witness to the wedding. And over here on the right, we have Rex, the cunning thief and mystery at the wedding. And shout out to little baby Rex that I know and his proud parents, Matt and Misha. And then on the back here, we have Edwin on the left, who is Edric's friend, and he's friendly and kind. And then finally, on the right there is Hermione, the loyal servant, assisting the wedding. I think it's a nice set. There's some lovely different headpieces here. You can see the hair for the princess, and obviously the crown on the king. Some lovely dress pieces here, and as always, wonderful prints on the bodies, including on most of these. We also have some impressive back prints as well, which is really nice that they do go the extra hog to have multiple prints. And some of the characters also have multiple faces as well, which is a nice touch. So, overall, what are my opinions on this set? Well, I think it's kind of obvious what I think about the set. I do like it. I don't want to sound too negative about it. I didn't find the building experience as fun. A lot of the pieces don't fit together as well and can be a bit flimsy and fiddly, especially on the insides of the banqueting hall. I think it looks great, but I think this is actually one of those sets that might, for me at least, be less than the sum of its parts. There's definitely things I love. I love the tower with the fire going in it with the lovely flickering fire effect. That's really nice. I think the stained glass windows are an absolute standout and look amazing. I think it's a nice big set, very, very imposing, and fits fantastically with the set last week, the Treasury. And I love how they connect up. I think that's wonderful. But yeah, the building experience was not as fun. There were the issues with the fitting, meaning that I had to leave some parts out. And the inside, while it looks nice, is so much more simplistic compared to the one last week. Now, for the price, again, it's excellent value. If this was Lego, it'd be 2 to 3 times the price at least. So I think that needs to be taken into account. I'm only saying that I don't think it's as good compared to the set last week. By itself, I think it's lovely. I think it's a really nice set, got lots of fun characters. I think it looks great. So in that sense, I'd recommend it. But if you were only going to pick one of the two sets, then I would go for that one last week, the Treasury, as I think it's overall a bit of a better set. But yeah, you can't go too far wrong. And if you have the money and, more importantly, the space, I think going for both is definitely an option because they look wonderful together on your shelf or as part of your dioramas. So thank you for joining me this week. As always, if you'd like to help the channel, then please do like and subscribe to this video. If you're interested in buying any of these sets, then please do use our referral code. It does help the channel, so please consider using that. And until next week, have a good one.